Everybody get signed in?
Yes, sir. Yeah, this is not, we need one down, we need it down here. You signed, oh, not on the ball, I'm sorry. Pay attention. Thank you.
Thank you.
Is anybody on Zoom? Well, okay.
Check it. Nope.
Hmm.
All right, found the agenda. All right, call meeting to order. Have the secretary call the roll, please.
Keith Campbell.
Here.
Steve Eisenbrown. Bill Gallagher.
Here.
Al Fair.
Here.
Jim Steelsmith.
Here.
Chris Peroni.
That was me, forget about it. I was just making sure. It was worth it.
Would you like me to send you an invite to join? Oh. Well, that's no fun.
Okay. We need a motion to approve the agenda with flexibility.
I move we approve the agenda with flexibility.
Yeah, second.
Second.
All in favor, say aye. Aye, opposed, same sign. Good flexibility. Did everybody read their minutes? Have any changes or corrections or?
No, they don't look good to me. Look good.
Make a motion, we accept the May 20th, 2024 minutes for the DZA regular meeting.
I'll second that.
Got a motion and a second. Any discussion? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Those have been approved. Did they get the updated one?
Yes.
Hearing? Okay. I don't know if you had the one for the hearing.
Yep.
I told Valerie when I came in here, the motion wasn't in the minutes and she added that and got it updated, so. You want to look at that, that Mr. Ferris made the motion. And from the back of the first page starts.
So I remember it.
Should be right, because I give you people who had it written down, so.
Okay.
If everyone else, any changes or description on the minutes of the hearing, if not, we'll have a motion.
I move we accept the minutes of the hearing and the motion as stated. I second it.
Got a motion in 2 seconds. Speak up.
So Mr. Eisenbrown would make a motion.
Yeah.
Jim
Jim
second.
second.
I second.
3 seconds.
Steelsmith second.
All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Opposed, same sign. Those approved then. Just in time for the hearing. Find my sheet. Motion to recess the regular business meeting. So,
Oh, I'm sorry.
motion to recess the regular business meeting,
I motion we set
recess,
the regular
Yeah.
BZA meeting.
a second,
I second.
and a roll call vote, please.
Keith Campbell,
Aye.
Weisenbrow,
Here.
Bill Gallagher,
Here.
Kyle Ferris,
Aye.
Jim Stillsmith.
Yeah.
Okay, call the meeting to order. Secretary, call the roll, please.
Keith Campbell,
Here.
Steve Eisenbrow,
Yeah.
Bill Gallagher,
Here.
Kyle Ferris.
Here.
Jim Stillsmith.
Here.
Would you also like me to call the alternate?
Not necessary. Okay, I'll explain the hearing at this point. First off, we'll have a staff report from our zoning inspector. Then we receive the applicant or her representative will state his reason for this hearing. Then we'll take any comments from adjoining property owners. Then we'll take any other public comment. All comments must be relevant to the issue before the board. All may be cross-examined on their statements. All questions of presenters and cross-examiners will be directed to the chair. All persons speaking will stand and go to the podium. All persons speaking will state the name and address for the record. All persons speaking and giving testimony is sworn in. Any questions on the procedures? If not, Mike and the applicant and anyone wishing to speak, would stand up right now, please, and be sworn in. You swear to tell the truth?
Yes.
Okay. Do you have any abstentions from any of the board members? Madam Secretary, was the hearing properly advertised in the paper record?
Yes, it was.
Did you read the ad into the record, please?
This was in the Delaware Gazette. June 12th, public notice, the Harlan Township Board of Zoning Appeals is being asked to consider the following. Timothy M. Miller is seeking a variance to use his property for the operation of a small business located at 11122 Gorsuch Road, Galena, Ohio, 43021. Parcel IDs 131632004018000. 316-320-04-007-000, 316-320-04-006-000, 316-320-04-005-000, and 316-320-04-004-000. The hearing is scheduled on June 17th. At 7:35 at the Harlem Township Building, 383 South State Route 605, Galena, Ohio. To view the application and accompanying documents, please call 740-965-2661, extension 2, Monday to Friday, 8 to 12 to schedule an appointment or view on our website at harlemtownship.com. The hearing is open to the public and available on Zoom. To join our hearing on Zoom, use the following link. Keith Campbell, Chair.
Thank you. At the time the application was received, we checked the list of adjoining property owners and found it to be complete. Madam Secretary, the adjoining property owners notified first class mail.
Now they were.
Did you get your letters back?
And we had two that were returned. This was Mrs. Robert Fleming and Benjamin and Amanda Fleming. They have a Westerville address instead of Fleming. So two were returned and that's all.
Okay. You need to get that.
Oh, there we go.
Look at you.
Good teacher.
Okay. This time we'll take a report from the zoning inspector.
This is Mike Cannon, I'm the zoning inspector. I just wanted to say that I had initially contacted Mr. Miller back in October, and we were talking about some issues we have with this property, and we discussed at that time about the possible variance for the expanded home use, extended home use. And he started to pursue it, was March of this year, you and I discussed it again, after he got the building done. And then that's when he came forward and pursued it with the BZA.
Okay. So the initial contact was in October and March. Okay. Mr. Mayor, this time you're going to step to the podium, state your name and address, and give a brief summary of what you're asking for.
Yes, my name is Timothy Miller, 11122 Gorsuch Road, and applying for variance for small home-based business.
Okay. At this time, we have any comments from any adjoining property owners? Seeing none. We'll open the meeting up to other public comment. Anyone else have any comments? You'll stand up the podium, state your name and address, please.
Yes, I'm Bruce McClary, 11561 Gorsuch Road in Galena. Came here tonight. I certainly don't have any objection to Mr. Miller having a home-based business. The only question I did want to raise is I'm wondering if there's a plan on the number of vehicles that are going to be at the property. As you travel down Gorsuch Road, there's a really, really great hedgerow that does a good job of protecting the majority of his property. But there does seem to be a large number of vehicles that can be seen from either entrance. And I guess just from an aesthetic perspective, I don't know how far along his business is or what he's doing at this point, but there's already a lot of vehicles there. So again, not opposed to the concept, but something as probably 400 yards down the road from where Mr. Miller lives, of something that I've observed. And I think over a 4 or 5 day period of time somewhere, besides the cars in the driveway, additional cars, 10 to 14 cars, around the property there in some different way, shape or form. So I just wanted to at least ask that to be taken into consideration as you folks decide what.
Okay, thank you. Any other comments? Anyone on Zoom have any comments? Does it look like it? So at this time, we'll close the public portion of the hearing. I have a motion to close the public portion.
I move to close the public portion.
Second the motion.
The motion and a second. All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Aye, opposed, same sign. Any final comments from you, Mike? No comment from you. It's time to open up to the board members. Questions and comments.
I've got a couple questions.
Okay.
Given some of the work is automotive in nature, and I would imagine that will involve oil changes, basically fluid handling and used fluid handling. What are the provisions for disposal and containment in the event of a spill, given that you're so close to Dunkin' Run?
That would be, planning.
Would you come up to get the microphone, can pick you up, is that microphone on?
Just point a mic over to him though, up over the monitor there. There you go.
All right.
That'll work.
Yeah, as far as storing used fluid, we're going to use the water totes. For that, we have folks that are interested in used coolant, and I'm looking into a oil burner for heating the shop as well. Be one way of disposing of oil. If not, we'll hire a company to take it away. So.
But will you have, I mean, will these be sitting on a pad in there?
There's a concrete pad in there.
So in the
No
event
drain.
one of them starts to leak.
Yeah.
Are you putting in a containment ring that they're gonna sit on to capture any loose fluid that might escape?
I'd be glad to do something like that. There's no drain in the floor for that very reason, so that it doesn't leach out into the ground. What fluids we've had on the floor have never gone toward the door. There's a, it was designed for that purpose. The floor was laid for that purpose, so, but if there's I'm open to comply with any regulations that there would be.
I don't know what the regulations would be. I guess you're not in, I guess, the boundary area of the creek as such. But I mean, kind of in my worst case scenario, it's probably less about you guys spilling and you getting some delinquents kind of going in there and rustling through your barn and punching holes in the containment canisters just to make a mess. And I don't know how many gallons you would store at one time. That might be one way to make me or others comfortable that there won't be 50-gallon drums on the floor of oil or antifreeze or take your pick.
Yeah, I'd even be willing to partition off a section and keep it locked as added security.
Well, that might be a good idea.
I'm thinking, as you were saying, I'm thinking, yeah, it might be a good idea.
Yeah.
Plus, it keeps it out of the way, keeps it from accidentally being hit or, run into moving vehicles around, so.
Yeah. Well, if you did that and then secondarily, not probably for not much money in that room, you could put in a simple fire system. If
Yeah.
we're worried about that, but that's less, I guess, of an issue to me. But
Yeah. Yeah, and I have plenty of fire extinguishers in the building, so.
okay, well, I mean, I think that, so how many gallons do you think you would have there at any given time?
It'd probably take a year to fill up a 55-gallon drum.
But that's the plan, is to fill up that size of a drum?
No, I would never want to have that much around, so. I was just trying to give a figure of how much I can anticipate based on, we're not trying to run a full-blown automotive shop. We're not. Based on, what we do as a hobby, and I doubt if we do much more than what we are doing. Reason why we're petitioning for this is we've had friends in the community ask us to work on their cars, and we just want to be up and legit about doing that and doing it, not trying to be sneaky and run a part-time business behind, the government's back. So if we don't get the variance, we just won't be able to do that. We'll keep it to friends and family and our own use. So.
Is that something, Mike, that gets checked by the fire department?
Actually, you can check probably depending on what certifications chief has. Usually when you have something like that, they've got to follow the EPA guidelines. You will probably be required, I'm sure you'll be required, to have some kind of a hazardous material barrel. And I think what Steve is alluding to is if you get a spill, they're like long, almost look like swimming pool tubes that are absorbent. And you bring them out and you throw them on the ground and circle your
Yeah.
spill, and it'll absorb anything that goes into it.
Right.
Short of if you spill a 100-gallon barrel, but
Right.
that's the kind of thing I think
Yeah.
you're alluding to, is that not?
Well, yeah, I mean, some people would actually build like a seawall around the storage area.
Yeah,
That might contain up to 50 gallons worth of material if you, had a complete breakdown in the container.
Yeah, yeah, I think that's a good idea, because I could make like a concrete footer, block footer where it sits and have some flame retardant, absorbent in there.
I'm sure there's some kind of guidelines that out there for hanging up on the sides.
So how does that happen? Is that you get involved with either EPA or the chief gets it, you help
I'll
get the
talk to
chief involved?
We'll pull some regs.
Okay.
I was gonna say, that, talk to chief and he can just steer him in the right direction.
Uh-huh.
Yes, before you build anything, at our work, we have raised little platforms and basically catch basins that we set our barrels on. So if the
Right.
barrels leak, they leak that.
Go right in there, yeah.
Right.
No, that's a great idea.
Is there gasoline involved also?
Only what's in the vehicle.
Well, what do you do with that? I know some of the vehicles.
Drain it and put it back in, like if we're doing work on a gas tank.
Well, right, but I was thinking of the strip cars. I noticed he had stripped some cars down completely. So there had to be a gas tank with something in it.
It's something.
Well, lacquer, might be lacquer.
Yeah, lacquer thinner.
Yeah, usually lacquer. But yeah, I'd be glad to comply with any, because it's for our
Just
protection. as well.
it's a little more explosive.
Mhm, right.
I don't know, I knew a guy that out on the west side that did this on a large scale. And they siphoned all the gas out and somehow cleaned it and reused it, but that was a lot. But I'm just thinking some of those cars that come in that you're totally dismantling. Do you check the tanks? Do you, I'm just thinking because of the flammability,
Right,
something maybe.
Land leaking into the ground.
Yeah,
I mean, either way. Cause you got all the wash, all the water's coming down that way.
mhm.
And essentially lands in Duncan Run eventually, so.
yeah, eventually. Tends to pull right there.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'd be willing to comply with any EPA regs that are out there, because it's for my best interest and protection as well too, so.
Actually, your protection too, especially
Absolutely,
gas.
yeah.
Bruce raised the point about the number of vehicles on the site at any given time and then the optics. I thought in one of the earlier meetings before you put in the application, you had talked about storing vehicles out of sight in some manner, or secondly, putting in a barrier, fence, wooden fence or something that helps with the line of sight of people looking down the hill, down the driveway and seeing all the vehicles.
Right, yeah, because I share that same concern. I don't want to be the guy that I am with all the cars in the yard, but for the moment I am. So what I would like to do is, or my intentions are, because it finally got dry enough where I can get back there behind the new pole barn and build a fence out to the edge of my property, and I could put 2 rows of cars back there and be out of sight.
So your idea is to put them behind the barn,
Mhm.
and put a parking area back there versus then you're not parking up front, is that what you're
Right.
doing?
If you knew my son, you would know I have stern conversations every day about those cars being parked there.
Yeah, I mean, it's
And
what's going to
it's-
have,
Where am I gonna put, so. I got the drainage issue taken care of this weekend, actually. So. We can actually move cars in and out back there without them at times when it's wet, getting stuck.
because, once if you have some clients coming to have work done, I think it's one thing to have one parked out front that's sort of in process.
Mhm.
But you can only really be working on 1 or 2 at a time, not 6 or 7.
That's all we'd ever do.
And so, you know, a couple cars down the hill there, and if there was a form of a barrier, just to give some shield, I think, you know, that can work well.
Yeah, I am not opposed to that at all.
Huh.
So,
Mike, how do we put any kind of teeth in that?
Well, you're only allowed to have, whether they run or not, a car for 14 days on your property. As far as if it's not running, and then it's gotta move, it's gotta go. You gotta do something with it, so. I mean, the amount of cars, as long as they're running, there's not really a restriction on the amount of cars.
But if they were behind the pole barn and shielded from sight, that's less obtrusive, right?
Yes, they're behind and out of sight. And within, I think he's gonna put up, you say fencing,
yeah.
On the front.
but even that's,
Behind,
but even those would just be temporary, right? Back in behind there,
yeah.
you get them out, take them out, the hulks.
But, okay, so are you gonna do anything aesthetically on Gorsuch? You know, looking in from Gorsuch towards down the driveway or towards the pole barn?
And I've started a new tree line behind that shrub line with evergreens, so.
Okay,
So in the winter, it doesn't become very visible. But that's not gonna be an immediate fix, so trees take time to grow. But I planted those seedlings last year. So,
It seems to me that somewhere in our past, on other car businesses in Harlem Township, that there was a restriction of the number of cars sitting in front. In the past, they've done different things, and I was thinking it was like 3, 4. Does anybody remember any of that?
Not that I can recall.
That's something you.
Yeah, we
My
could,
understanding was you guys were gonna set.
But I think your biggest problem is when you come down Highland Road, you look right down when you stand at the
Right.
stop sign.
Absolutely.
It's not like you have to drive by, you have to stop for the stop sign to
Right.
you actually get a good view, you know, that.
where which way you're going, you're stopping at the stop sign, right?
That's with the
Yes.
stop sign there, they're gonna have to stop and look at you.
They do, we wave. They wait, some of them wait back.
Stop.
Yeah, they don't stop to be down there with you. Anyways,
But we've had a few of those, not recently, thankfully.
So I have a question. When the property behind you is developed,
Mhm.
you also allow for fencing back there to,
Well, that's where I plan on putting the fence,
so it'll just be at the back of the property, not out.
be behind the barn, yeah. It would be a privacy fence.
I think there should probably, my personal opinion, be a limit to the number of cars out front. Aesthetics for what you're working on for the neighborhood. I don't live on that road. I live down the road. Bruce lives down the road, so we're neighbors. And I understand what you know. I've been here a long time. We've all been here a long time. And just the number of cars out front. I think aesthetically, for everybody, you know, you and us.
As we're looking at the picture here,
Yeah, my pole barn is not in that picture.
I know, but where you talking about? putting
So
it?
there's the back of my property, put along
On that
the back.
property.
Is it
I'll put the fencing here, this,
correct? Yes.
No.
Yeah,
the
exactly.
pole barn sits up in here somewhere.
Pole barn sits right there. Right beside 13 feet away from this existing barn. Yep. Right here. Yes, right. Correct.
So you can see what we just drove.
Right.
So there's the barn, and here's, and let's put the fence on those two sides back here.
Yeah, because the other building shields it pretty much from that direction, right? Well, Jim, I don't disagree. I mean, I don't know what the technical number is, but if it's two, or.
I don't know. I was trying to think of some other garages. You're not the only guy working on cars in Harlem Township.
Yes.
I think that's a national pastime around here. That and target shooting. And what I noticed on one that I go to to work on having work on my cars. And it's probably a little more time consuming for your son, is when you pull that car out, you're gonna have to take it around back.
Mhm.
And maybe have a limit of 3 running cars or 4 running cars out front. I'll let these gentlemen,
Or personal vehicles. Would that-
well, it's total cars.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah, it would be total cars, and the other shops do the same thing. So
Right.
he's gotta take the car around back. In other words, if you look out and go, oh, I already got 4 cars here. So, but he's gonna be pulling another one in, or he's gonna be checking tire pressure or something on the outside or whatever. So it's I understand it's a little more pain in the rear end and maybe a little more work because he's gotta pull it around back. But if you consistently get used to it,
Mhm.
that you've only had those cars out front, now over at your house, because you have so much distance. Doesn't mean in your own personal driveway over there, I don't think that's a problem.
No,
And so when you're saying out front, we're not talking about your house.
Okay.
We're just talking about
The shop area.
the shop area, so you don't have to worry about your cars at your house. Okay, so you've got the shop area. I think 3 or 4 cars out there running, decent looking cars. The ones that are being maybe stripped for parts or whatever, I don't know. That's what it looked like to me.
You're right, yeah.
Okay,
Yeah. Making 2 out of 1.
that needs to
Making
move,
1 out of 2.
that has to go back. That
Yeah.
has to go in the back. I mean, just, you gotta live with everybody around you, but I think once he gets used to it, that'll just be a normal part of doing business every day.
Right. Yeah, I mean, he's worked at a shop before where cars were parked in a very specific place.
Right,
Because parking was so limited.
Right,
So
so
understand.
once everybody gets used to that, and like I said, at another garage where I've taken my vehicles to be worked on. That's what they do. They're just constantly making sure, in and out, pull around, but you just don't have a big confluence of cars
Right.
out front.
plus, if we, if this goes through, we do start working on other people's cars. I want them, if they're gonna be there overnight and not in the shop, I want them in an area that's secure as well. So
Right.
that would all work well.
Right, so, but I think with that, and we can do some kind of wording or something to help you with that. And then I think that might help the neighbors. Then that way it doesn't look like a large enterprise.
Right.
That it does look like an expanded home occupation, which is what it's going to be. I know sometimes he gets a little zealous and has, a lot of vehicles there. And then it looks to me, I'm just guessing, like I said, we're neighbors sort of. But his buddies come over.
But
Then all of a sudden you've got like all these cars out there. I mean, they're
on a
just,
Friday night, don't look in my yard.
yeah.
Just
But
they're not staying there.
yeah, but they leave, but I'm just saying, so then you already have the cars you're working on. Then when his buddies all come over, and they're young, they're having a good time, that's fine.
and they're doing things that I rather them do. So I try to go easy on them.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
Okay, the next thing we need to talk about.
Try to manage that, I guess. And I'm just trying to think of a practical way, because you're right, we don't care how many cars are parked over at his house and.
He's got a driveway that goes right up to his house, he's fine.
Kind of the proof test would be is if you're coming down Harlan Road and you hit the stop sign and you look down the hill. If you can see more than 3 cars, it's too many.
Yeah.
I mean, that's, and the rest need to be, around back.
I think we need to move on to
For
the next part too.
Article 21, General Development Standards, Section 21.02, Parking. E, single family residence, AR1, FR1, and R2. It's 4 per dwelling unit. Then additionally. Section 21.17, limited home occupation. Article F here is no more than 2 additional parking spaces may be proposed in conjunction with the home occupation, and said parking spaces shall not be located in the front yard. So the front yard is in relation to your dwelling. So I think you can have four, up to four at the house and then two additional with the home occupations, the way I read that, if this is the.
Right, but as a variance, we're trying to give him.
We can write in this, whatever we want, how we want, if we have latitude for that.
The big thing is to get the cars behind.
But before we get any, we get beat this to death, we need to look at the woodworking part too.
Yeah, there's, well, woodworking and it also says home renovation / carpentry. And
Well, I didn't know the best way to word that.
So, I need to find out what this part involves.
So I
too.
listed all three. I like, just as we like to work on cars, I like to work on houses. I have some woodworking tools. You notice you don't see those, right?
They don't do well outside.
No, they don't. And
Do you bring like cabinets home to work on for people, or when you say remodeling or helping other people, don't you just go do that on their site?
absolutely.
Yeah, so you're not really bringing any of that material.
It's really, I flipped the house. I may want to do that again. I may change my mind, but right now I'm not working in other people's homes.
But I'm just saying, with your woodworking and stuff, it's personal projects. Maybe a small project, but you're not bringing like a
No,
whole kitchen of cabinets home and redoing them or something like that.
I'm not bringing a whole truckload of shingles and dropping them off in my
Right.
yard,
Yeah,
for storage or,
okay.
skids of plywood or, no.
I just needed a little verification on it.
No, it's a very understandable. It's something I like to do, and I thought, well, I just retired. If I can make a few bucks at it, again, just wanted to be upfront and
Yeah, it's not
Do
something
it
that you're
legit.
really doing on your property. You do it for,
yeah, I do it more on location.
on location, yeah.
Yeah, so it's just his tools and his own
Yeah,
personal
that's
woodworking.
Yeah.
part of it.
No, that's fine, that's fine.
Yeah.
Yeah,
You just had it written down, so we had to
I just,
verify.
Yeah.
just trying to cover all bases.
Yeah.
I don't want to somebody come and say, hey, saw something, is.
Okay. Now bring up the bad news. Y'all got this piece of paper. Unannounced to myself and others, the zoning commission changed R2 district.
Speak up a little bit.
I haven't even read this yet, totally. They changed R2 district, what's allowed as far as expanding in-home occupation. And like basically they eliminated it,
Pardon me?
expanded in-home occupation and eliminated in R2.
That's what it looks like. The wording is no longer there in the,
Now, I checked with Mike and confirmed in October, he came and talked to him about this expanding home occupation. Also came in and got permit to build the barn, to do this in. After that, the zoning commission changed the rules. It says it's not allowed. So my proposal tonight is to recess this hearing. Have Mike and I get a hold of Chloe and get a legal opinion on how we can proceed. I think because it was a motion before they changed it, we can maybe proceed, but I don't want to make that assumption without consulting our attorney or legal.
Probably prudent.
So,
Common sense, we would probably agree with your point of view,
Yeah.
but that's not always the way it works.
right, so I want to make sure legally we can proceed with what we're talking about before we actually do the procedure. So if we want to entertain a motion to recess this hearing to time certain, which would probably be next month.
May I ask a question first? If I'm recalling correctly, because I have 5 lots, they're not all,
But not all, so it depends on which lot you're putting this on, how it's zoned, it could be
and I
different.
can't tell you off the top of my head.
the barns on his AR1 property,
Barns on AR1,
his house is
House is not in R2, so it might not be a non-issue then.
Well, depends on how you want to look at it.
I mean, I couldn't find a map to tell this house, so I didn't know.
It's his, that big property that he's got his barn on is an AR property.
Okay,
And how about the properties in front?
I think
It was across the big one along the back.
we tied to Caddy Corner.
Well, you got this one.
This one and this one are ARs.
And what are these two?
These are all R2s.
Yeah, well,
But that's, the one in front is my leach field, so.
you had a hard time arguing though that this wasn't inclusive in the application for home occupation.
yeah, because it was the whole thing, so I was
So it
always,
would seem to me that we're gonna, however we do it.
I think you'll make a legal opinion before I proceed, anyway.
Smart.
I mean, because this is a whole.
Yes, it's a sticky wicket.
You got the right words there.
We're trying to help you.
Congratulations, Tim.
It
As-
makes so much work for you folks.
Also, I
So for you too.
don't want to make sure it's right, that's all. I don't want to have
Hey,
consequences coming back, that's all I care.
I'd rather know now than after the fact, so.
Right. Before you get too far along, because,
Well, that sounds good to me.
so they entertain a motion to recess till 7:35 on whatever date we're meeting again, July 15th.
Yeah, I'll be here. I make a motion that we recess this hearing until our next regular BZA meeting on July 15th. And while in the meantime, Keith takes this up with Mike Kabler and with Corey for review.
Do that.
I second the motion.
I would amend that to, just, take it up with legal counsel.
That's a good idea. Yeah.
I mean, I can talk to Mike to see what they was thinking.
I already talked to Mike. Again, I'd like to amend that to
There's a new amendment, I understand. Okay, well, that's fine.
Who's Mike out of it?
That's fine.
at least after you talk to Corey.
It's BCA's issue right now.
That's all right.
Yes, that was July 15th, the next.
Yes, sir.
July 15th at 7:35, if the motion and second, and we'll roll call vote on that, please.
Keith Campbell.
Aye.
Steve Eisenbrow.
Aye.
Bill Gallagher.
Aye.
Kyle Ferris.
Aye.
Jim Steelsmith.
All right.
Okay, motion's carried. We are recessed until July 15th and 7:35.
Thank you. appreciate it.
Thank you. Thank you. Thanks for your patience as well. In the meantime, a word to the wise, I would say, is try to have fewer cars out. Just so that, people are seeing that you're making the move to get those back in the barn.
Unfortunately for you, I'd never go that way, except 605 is closed.
Yeah, now you do.
That's my detour. If I go that way, to get you down with. Okay. So.
Thank you.
Thank you, I appreciate it. Okay, here's my agenda now, what's next? We got the minutes done, we have the hearing done, recess. No any new applications? Any other new business from anyone else? You'll bring up? My report for us,
I mean, I give you updates. I mean, we're sitting at about 25 permits right now. We're gonna have a lot more coming the way of the zoning commission. I don't know that it's gonna be coming in the days we have running across more customers, more resident concerns about businesses out there that and I didn't realize they were here either, but when you go look at them, they're actually businesses that probably shouldn't be out there. I did get a call today on the property you guys just approved on the BZA for that house to be rebuilt on Harlem Road.
Yeah. Clark's.
And
Yeah.
and he's gonna be calling you tomorrow. He's got a surveyor out there. They're trying to get the plan set up and there's some question on the distances and the accuracy of the distances. So he's gonna be calling you, but One of the things when you guys did it, I don't know if you discerned or designated in there, but when they were talking about the setbacks we had from the rear and the front and everything, is that two foundation or is that two overhang? You got your house and you got your.
I assume to the foundation.
That would have been my assumption,
Foundation.
but I mean,
That's, I'm saying that because we had one on Red Bank years ago. It was 3 inches over, whatever, or something, whatever. I remember, I don't think it might have been Seichnet even done that, whatever.
so it'd be
And it was to the
excluding
foundation.
overhanging eaves and so forth.
So basically the foundation, which
Yes.
would make sense because that's what you deal with is foundation. You're talking about footprint all the time.
Yeah.
For me,
Yeah.
when I set them up, I want the setbacks to be from any overhang. So that's why I wanted to make a clarification of what you guys were thinking.
I don't know, is there a standard in the regulation that says I usually most.
Everything you guys have talks about footprint and that is your foundation. So it seemed to me that footprint would be the way for you guys to go, but I didn't want to make that determination for you.
We should ask Corey how that goes.
Can I ask about a property, whether you're investigating just, and I don't, what's the little street off the center? When you go down 605, turn left past the market there onto Center Village, and then the next left that takes you down towards the maintenance building,
Yeah,
aimed right towards the old cement plant.
yeah,
Right, that house on the corner, on the left, as you go down there, has got a garage set behind it.
okay.
And there is all manner of junk accumulating there. I mean, it's always been a crap show as far as I'm concerned, but I think I'm now seeing an engine stand out
Talking
there.
about the
From Worcester
We're
Nova,
addressing one property down there. I think it might be the same one you're talking about. You guys probably don't have anything.
Well, again, as you turn onto that, I forget the name of that street, heading towards the cement plant, the old cement plant.
like I'm going to go to the park
Right.
from Center Village Road, that
From
there's a
Center
past
Village,
maintenance building, there's a house on the left there.
immediate property
So
to
you're
the
looking-
left.
Yeah, and he's got that garage back. there.
Yes, he does.
Yes, I-
Surrounded by
Yes.
more and more. Yeah, that looks familiar. And there's the engine stand.
Yep,
And it's new because it's freshly painted. So,
yep. Started that one.
oh,
Yeah, we
weeks
started.
ago.
okay, good.
Didn't notice I was the photographer.
I see that. All right, sort of. Well, look, I don't want to pick on anyone in particular, but I tell you, as we allow that to happen, it's awfully hard to put any hooks and enforcement elsewhere.
Yep.
Because it's always a, hey, look over there, you know, you think I'm
Absolutely.
bad, look at this one. So I'm glad to hear you're working.
Yep,
Thank you.
yeah, from going down there. I was looking at it one day and I was telling Jim, I said. And we did get a concern in on it, which if not, yours would have been the concern I took for it, but we got a concern in on it and we addressed it.
Okay, thank you.
That's all I had.
Okay. Anything else? Everybody? Thank you for showing up tonight. Where we get,
I know we adjourned.
where we get an audience.
One thing for sure. So. Looking at this R2 district from this printout we have here. Section 9.03, that's first page.
Yep.
F
Yeah.
says limit of home occupations as regulated in 21.16. It was 21.16, I think.
That says limited home occupations. We're looking at expanded home
Yeah,
occupation.
we're gonna expand.
Limited home occupation is in your house, expanded home occupation is in an accessory building.
Being an accountant working in your house.
Yeah.
Okay, that's a good definition.
Understand the difference?
I do understand the difference, but I think the reference they have in here for 21.16 is still error.
I mean, okay.
Could be. I wouldn't know. I see. I just was handing this tonight, haven't read it, no idea.
Yeah.
All I know is I heard at the trustees meeting, or what was that meeting the other night that
And which one is that you feel's an error?
let's look up with Mike.
Page 901. Section 9.03 permitted uses. Article F. Refers to 21.16.
And that's wrong, by the way. Because 21.16 is standards of regulating external impacts. Limited home occupations is 21.17.
That's what I'm saying, yeah.
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 Okay.
So there may be other areas in this newly revised section. That's the plan. Really trying to-
I'll give you a homework assignment. Read this month, bring back your opinion.
How about we give it back to the people for revision that wrote it?
We're thinking about that.
No, no idea.
But
I-
that,
Let me put it to you this way. I heard about this last week. And I knew it was going to affect the hearing tonight. So I decided that I need to probably get a legal opinion. I spent all afternoon today watching the minutes, reading the minutes from all the trustees meetings, all the zoning commission meetings, and trying to figure out when they done this, when they got approved, whatever. And I did find it on the zoning commission, we talked about this one time. And I didn't see the lengthy conversation about it. I never did see in the trustees minutes where it ever got approved.
So you said they had a lengthy discussion about it?
No, I didn't have no lengthy, they had it, but the day it was in the minutes was short. I didn't watch the video. I didn't want to spend 3 hours each
Yeah.
video, you know.
It's
I read the minutes, so I could find out what basically the summary of what happened. But the trustees meeting, in fact, I was at the trustees meeting when supposedly this happened, and I didn't even realize it even happened.
Let me ask you guys this question under your section for divergencies. Says the zoning commission, as part of development plan approval, may grant divergencies from any standard requirement in this section, with exception of density, permitted uses, and the percentage of required open spaces. So is that,
Where are you?
C
I see. Oh, okay,
1307, page 1307.
okay.
1307.
It doesn't seem like it seems like it's more our job than their job for divergencies, right?
it is,
So that's would seem like something else we want
you know,
to have clarity on.
Well, you know, if I,
well, usually a divergent would be the guy, you know, they're calling for zoning and the guy got off a little bit or something.
Yeah.
But there again, sometimes that usually comes back to us.
Well, variance coming to you guys, a divergent is something they can do.
the divergence.
See, that's in the overlay, so they can do a divergent or
See,
they can do it in a, like if they're doing a planned commercial district
Right.
and they're in there. And if
Yeah,
if
that's where that comes up.
commercial district, they want to change something, they have the leniency to change a little bit here and there, and they call it divergence.
Yeah.
Whereas a big one would be variance that you guys.
When they're doing the planned unit, the plan becomes the zoning. So we can get divergences in the plan. Divergence to the zoning in a planned unit for that plan, and that just affects that piece of property only.
But this isn't a planned unit, so.
Right.
I mean, depends on,
I know.
that's what their wording is, but I think there
Yeah.
might be something in the wrong.
Yeah.
The wrong puddle there. They're good.
That's good. Write that down, public.
What's the guy's name that was there helping him?
Scott Sanders?
Scott Sanders, yeah. I was watching a little bit, I seen that he was helping him rewrite a whole bunch of stuff.
Yes, that's helping revamp everything and try to keep it legal easy.
They're gonna update the whole, the whole
Well, they're
thing,
working on that, they're updating all the.
the whole zoning. How's anything?
Okay, now. Motion we would,
So what I'm saying is, that's their job. They write the zoning code. They give it to trustees, the trustees to approve it. Our job is to interpret it, so we got to interpret whatever they write. That's what I'm looking at legal counsel. Make sure I understand. But, yeah. But we don't have. We can ask our opinion, but we don't have to. I wish they would.
Right.
But I don't mind going to the meetings either, because the meetings are terrible.
I'll make a motion, we exit the hearing.
Oh.
That's it.
We did that.
I second.
We both, that roll call vote on it. We didn't.
I stopped this.
Oh,
I second.
I'm gonna roll call vote then.
Roll call it.
Well, during the meeting or the hearing?
This is the meeting.
Oh, the meeting's fine. Okay, that, the hearing, I thought we already did. Yeah.
We did the meeting, not so much.
Oh, we did the hearing already?
Yeah.
Yeah.
If we're going to the meeting, we can do that too.
Yeah.
If no one has anything else to bring up,
So you can all go home.
have a motion to adjourn.
I'll make a motion to adjourn.
Have a second?
I'll second.
Oh, I thought.
You got 3 seconds?
The motion to adjourn.
We have multiple adjournment. We are adjourned.
All in favor, say aye. We are adjourned. Next meeting's at July 15th.
Let it say.
What going on here?
Yeah.